maybe because they have first pick instead of inverse, they would like it. They do play a fair amount of Void Spirit, but it does feel a little bit too hasty. The Venomancer, though, is the most picked hero in inverse. So that's definitely a targeted ban for Incubus. That's the second time they banned it in the first phase.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right.
Well, this guy makes it through. I think he was banned last game.
I thought you were going to say that Grimstroke was their most picked. I feel like that's what I see constantly from these guys.
Oh,
they're like the ultimate Grimstroke spammers.
Mm-hmm. I do see the Beastmaster being open, so maybe that's what Incubus goes for now. Pretty good hero.
5 seconds remaining.
Or do you look to deny some of these Mars combos? Like, do you take the Phoenix so they can't grab it? Am I overvaluing the Mars-Phoenix combo? Is it possible to overvalue such a combo? Yes, they will go for the Mirana. The SA favorite.
Oh, I actually have Inverse mixed up with someone else. Now I don't remember who spams Grimstroke. I'm like looking through because someone picks it like every single game, and I just assumed it was Inverse because they picked the last game because we haven't seen that many Grimstrokes. It might have been Infinity or someone.
Yeah,
I'll just keep naming random teams.
5 seconds remaining.
Just don't name upper division teams and they're going to be okay.
Yeah, exactly. Someone in the lowers just kept spamming them. But anyway, Grim, you're so cool.
I think they first picked it against crewmates in their first game. That might be what you're remembering.
I don't know. I'll just let it go.
Okay.
Pick Grimstroke, guys. He's pretty good. Mars, Phoenix is in the pool, but they instantly took the Mirana to say, hey, why don't you go ahead and take Phoenix? And we already have a counter pick. Yeah.
If I can't get the prediction, I'm going to sell them on the merits. All right, buddy. I like how you're working, Trent.
I do what I can.
You were a used car salesman in another life, buddy.
That was we did those career fair things, and that was what the recommended job was.
Really?
Well, when you're like, you fill out the little, what are they called? Like the colored surveys or whatever, when you're like grade 6, and it sorts you into a color group. And so if you're like orange or red,
it tries to tell you what job you might be well suited for.
Yeah, you're charismatic. You'd be a good used car salesman. It's like, I don't want to be a used car salesman. What?
That's such a... I always think of Office Space where the guy says, yeah, that's cool, except that whole thing is bullshit because there'd be no janitors if everyone had $1 million because nobody would pick up shit for a living if they had $1 million. Well, so there you go, Trent.
What if I had $1 million?
That's so funny, though. That's such a slap in the face. Like, son, we think you're cut out for used car sales.
Yeah, it was either that or park ranger. I was like, well, I'd much rather be a park ranger.
Oh, hell yeah.
Sell cars.
That's like actually a badass job, dude. Just cruising on the ATV.
Some used car salesman in the chat is just like, what?
No offense. No offense.
I love it.
It is a slighted profession, though, you know.
They banned the Phoenix even though they had the Mars, so they were really not caring about that combo at all.
Well, maybe it's a 4 Rubik.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely the case. And they do have the Mirana there on side of Incubus, so they might be a little scared of giving the Phoenix away because they already have the counter to it.
I really like Puck, and I like Venge. We had the Venge TV. Yeah, it's not the ranged anymore, but it's still a lot of base damage on TV. It's spooky.
But I feel like Puck is underpicked so much in South America. I really don't know. I know, though, that Incubus, they have a 30% win rate playing Puck, so maybe they're just a little... They're scared.
Hey, they're just going to up that number. It's good. You want low.
Yeah.
Just no expectations.
More. It's their 5th most played hero, and they have a 33% win rate, so it might have, tilted them a little bit that they cannot win with it.
By the way, guys, has Lycan still, do you feel like, been worthy of bans? Has he still been threatening? Like, has he been played in the other regions and stuff? Because he's slowly been getting less scary the more time we have on the patch.
I was casting another Ags one again. I don't know how I feel about it. Yeah, it's okay. It's like that was the.
It seems so gimmicky to me. Like, it sounds good on paper. I've tried it a couple times in unranked, and every time I'm disappointed. You know, it needs a little more.
I think you can just take over the game a lot if you just rush Necro 3. That's the thing.
Yes, the opportunity cost is very high. Maybe that's a good way to frame it.
It's like if you do get a decent laning stage, sometimes it feels like there's really no counterplay. It's kind of like that Rapier Medusa that gets the first Roshan and they end the game in 20 minutes just because, like, the hero just works in a certain way that gives you a lot of advantage if you get to that point, and it doesn't really fall off that much. So I think it's definitely worthy of a ban. You know, it might not be the strongest hero, but it's definitely a good one.
All right, guys, they're picking Venge or they're picking SD right out of this pick. That's a 100% Trent Peck's
Incubus?
guarantee. Yes.
All right, I'll
Venge or
I'm
Shadow
down.
Demon.
I would bet on Venge or SD.
It's guarantee. It's a guarantee Inverse ban one of them.
10 seconds
Well,
remaining.
All right,
That
I'll
said-
see you a Shadow Demon and raise you a Witch Doctor,
5
Trent.
seconds
You
remaining.
were allowed to say Undying.
Ooh, I like Witch Doctor.
I don't know
They have
about
a
Witch
Mars.
Doctor. Undying was 3.
Trent,
Wait.
see, you're doing this thing where you're using pure logic, and you got to factor in the SA bias. They've already got
Yes.
Mirana. You know they're picking Witch Doctor, bud. Come on, you got to get the emotional side in here. You're too logical.
Dire team.
No, this is their heroes. They're going to pick Venge or Shadow Demon and maybe Undying. But it should be Venge or Shadow Demon. I just want to watch Venge pick, and then I want to see a puck if the puck looks good after the next pick.
Dude, there's no way they pick Undying into Rubik. That's so scary.
Undying also has.
That's
an
why it's
abysmal
Venge or
win
Shadow
rate.
Demon.
All right.
10 seconds.
And besides, they have
Uh,
Murano, so if Rubik steals the tombstone, then Murano just kills it. Like, duh.
5
All right, and if they
Like,
pick
wasted
Grimstroke-
spell steal. Come on, Bowie.
If they pick Grimstroke, we all lose. Money goes to the house.
Yeah, okay, sure. But it doesn't matter because they're going to pick Shadow Demon Revenge. So it's fine. And then they're going to pick
I
Puck.
like her confidence, Trent.
Yeah, and then Inverse will answer with a... They might pick... actually, what 5's good versus Terrorblade? Ugh.
Wyvern, maybe?
Pick Radiant.
Yeah,
like
Wyvern's
the
pretty
Wyvern.
solid.
Okay. Same.
All right, you guys-
Sand Krugen.
Jerks! All right, it's fine. They'll still pick Shadow Demon Revenge. It'll just be the next pick.
Kotal.
Interesting. Back to the coddle. Wonder what combo
Love
we're
it.
going to see here.
It's good for securing their tier 2s because you're gonna have that Illuminate destroying the illusions.
Okay.
So that's good, and it's also really strong with Mars because you can get that
10
W
seconds
into
remaining.
spear into pretty much another spear. So that's like a
5
lot of burst
seconds
damage
remaining.
for the Mars.
And there
All
could
right.
still be another coddle combo depending on the safe laner, you know, like
Radiant
coddle
team.
PL, one of the old classics. And look at that, it's the
Alright.
Elder
Ooh.
Titan.
I have no
Probably.
guarantees left in this world.
Probably a 5 Elder Titan. Yeah, so what happens
Yeah.
when the ET comes out? That was out of left field.
Yeah, I really thought they were going to Venge or Shadow Demon. They've been picking Venge. They've been picking Shadow Demon. It looks really good this game. I've been asking teams to pick Venge, but I will agree that Shadow Demon looked pretty cool for the
5
Mars
seconds
save.
remaining.
I thought it was a freebie. But yeah, Zyra, you've been looking for the ET. Well, here he is. Now
Hey,
you
I
get to
played-
witness this.
My best ET game ever yesterday. And it felt
Okay.
very good. Very satisfying hero, I have to admit. Big
All
fan.
right, I want you watching his perspective this game and taking notes. All right,
All right.
you tell us
Now,
what you learned about ET
is
at the
this-
end of
Yes.
this game.
Is this 5 ET here, or is
Yes.
this...
No, it's
okay,
5.
4 Mirana, 5 ET. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want a book report at the end of this.
Radiant team back.
I'm excited. And a
Oh.
gyrocopter. A lot
That's a
of nice team
nasty
fight now
combo.
for Inverse.
Dire team
Do you know what sounds gross? Is Gyro Shard with Chakra Magic with a Rocket Barrage.
Oh,
that would do a lot of
baby.
damage.
Stop it.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's filthy.
even still, I really feel like the Terrorblade Gyrocopter matchup is so good for Terrorblade.
Yeah.
Right?
I would
You have
no, it does
so
not fill me
much
with
burst
confidence
damage.
seeing Gyro.
Yeah,
10
it's
seconds
you know
remaining.
we saw Trove being played versus Terrorblade, really good. We
5
saw I
seconds
think
remaining.
even PA is probably a better matchup against Terrorblade. Yeah,
Dire
I don't know.
team back.
I think it's good with the Coddle, and they might be banking in stomping that lane, but it feels like they're trapping themselves in the same not mistake, but like the same like let's own our lanes, but then they're kind of out of gas or they rely too much on a single
10
hero.
seconds.
We've seen what their
Unless
last
you're
pick here
Zeus.
is now.
What's better? Lesh or Zeus?
I think
I think Lesh
Zeus
is
is really good
better.
versus TB, but Lash is better.
Yeah. Lesh just looks like a nice pick here. I think they'll ban Lesh.
Is there
It's
like
like
a
a-
Coddle? What if they pick Bristleback Metal?
They could ban the Ricky too, theoretically,
What if they pick Bristleback middle?
with the Coddle.
Okay. All right, Thompson.
Yeah, dude. I think they need a hero that really
Sick
makes
roleplay,
us go
bro.
wow, or else I don't like what
Will
they
that
have
make
right
you
now.
I
go wow?
think Zeus would be kind of hype.
All right, yeah. They have a Sand King Mirana though. I feel like that Zeus is just gonna die.
Radiant
Well, I mean,
team
all the heroes are just gonna die, but their Leshrack's getting banned. That's a guarantee.
I'll bet
Oh,
you
boy.
infinity that they don't pick Bristle here.
Oh my goodness, that's a pretty good deal, bud. He bet infinity.
Somebody gives you
They're not even
10,000 to
playing.
1 on anything, you take it.
Oh boy, yeah, they're not gonna get Bristle. They're gonna get something boring, like I don't know.
They're gonna go like DP or something,
5 seconds
like something that
remaining.
pushes and is just super safe and boring. That's
Yeah.
you see, they took out Lugna. They took out Pugna. They took out Lesh. They took out the two big pusher spellcaster type.
Dire team pick.
Maybe even Nature's Prophet. Oh, Tiny.
Oh,
Where'd
that's
this guy
nice.
go? Forgot about Tiny.
I actually like this pick,
Me too.
but can't they just pick Lina here on Incubus again?
Yep. Yup.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I don't know. Tiny's kind of surprising. Oh, very fast pick. And that, oh, the Conka. That's a nice pick. That's a really nice pick. Their team fight now with the ET, the Conka, the damage reduction on the Terrorblade, lots of time to sunder, make everybody sad. Easy game, Incubus.
Yeah.
I like the heroes a lot.
I always hate it when I'm favoring a team just on a basic skill level, and then I also like their draft more. I kind of feel like I'm just being a front runner, but this looks hard for Inverse. They really need to execute here.
Yeah, I think this Rubik is gonna have to get some crazy steals, steal the boat, still burrow strike. Overall, their lanes don't look that great, and their carry matchup is not great. So they're gonna have to really impress us in the mid game.
Yeah, they
Easy.
need the ganks to pop off, right? They need Tiny to get much kills, Mars to get good setups early, and you can win anything in Dota. It's not over from the draft. But with how last game went and how well Incubus played, I think that they've set themselves up for a very nice looking game too.
I mean, we've seen
Agree.
some really crazy Tiny games. This is a hero that can scale really far into the late game. He's a possible Divine Rapier carrier. He's a possible Aghanims carrier to do some
But
big AoE damage.
What does it say when one of the most memorable ones of all time was Tiny losing with like 20 kills?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sumail,
Sumail game?
yeah, everyone thinks of that. Yeah.
What is it
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well?
First
Like,
one
what
that
does it
comes to
say about Tiny being like pretty high priority a few weeks ago, and now he's kind of not getting much priority now? That might
luck,
be a
Tiny.
data point worth investigating. But good luck to you as well, Gary. Let's see if you can make this one interesting. Do you believe in Inverse? What do we got from Theban? Hit me with the deets.
What do you mean make it interesting, Zyori? It's South America Dota with a draft like this. It's always going to be interesting. Gyro, Mars, Tiny, magic damage galore, Theban. Trent said they're going to make their ganks pop off, and it looks that way as Incubus, they've lined up a really good, solid draft around that TB, haven't they?
You know what, Gary? I just want to say I'm glad that they did not put any responsibility onto me to make this game interesting. It's all on you, Gary. So,
Oh, yeah, great.
So if this is not an interesting game, it's all your fault, buddy.
It's all my
yeah.
fault.
I
Well,
will
I'll thank
say-
Inverse for smoking. Trying to make things interesting from the get-go.
Yeah, get something going now, because the mid and the late is looking a little bit tough for them. I do think Incubus, not only do they have a strong draft, I do believe this to be the better team as well.
The homing missile. Telekinesis level 1 for Rubik. If they don't get this kill, Rubik's going to be real sad. But they've got the Illuminate, the Lift, the drag back into it, Benny low, and there's the God's Rebuke. They'll find the Terrorblade. Took a little bit longer than they would have liked, but First Blood
what?
goes the way of Inverse.
Oh, great. It went the
to
way
the
of the
Kotal.
Ah, man, I don't know about that. I mean, a first blood for a Coddle, and then you got a Rubik with the telekinesis. You might as well have not gotten a kill altogether. Like, Bait Bolt is just such an important skill to have for level 1. I guess with the Mars is not so bad, because at least you got the God's Rebuke to secure the range creep.
Well, they have to get back to their lanes as well. TP from Gyro. Kotal with a Windlace going to be sprinting down there. And we'll set ourselves up in that 2-1-2. So no tri-lane
there's
beginnings.
a ward behind the tower. Oh, no. Oh, no.
What's the oh no for?
The ET. He thought there was a ward behind the tower,
Ah.
and then planted a sentry because they caught the TB, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit of a waste for them, but that's okay.
A little sad. Well, ET up there with his TB. Mars and Rubik, of course, trying to get themselves away from that metamorphosis. The first one popped early on for the lane. Elder Titan just punching into the Rubik. Look at him go. Doesn't even have boots, just a Windlace, but he's catching up. Some great early damage.
I'm very surprised. You know, like ET is one of those heroes where every patch is like,
Oh, the gyro.
it just shows up here and there, and then people just start picking it a whole lot.
So
He's
close
cool.
to death. He's fine though. Does Kotal have a salve?
Healing salve is here too. Yep, it was
Yeah.
on the way. Gonna be able to heal him up.
It'll be grand. But yeah, the ET you're mentioning, he's doing a great job. He's solo zoning 2 heroes in that top lane, so Terrorblade just has free reign of the creep wave.
It's kind of like an undying kind of hero.
Yeah. It's so hard to stack
Undying
and pull
over
against him
ET.
too.
Oh yeah. I mean, you don't really want to stack either. You just want to make sure that that big camp is blocked so it doesn't get that extra damage from the big camp. You might just
arrow?
lose your lane because of it.
Yeah, stack and lose. Toss up, Tiny. Having a few troubles up against this Kunkka so far. CS-wise looks good, but regen-wise, Tidebringer's doing a lot more.
Noah has just been having a really tough laning stage throughout this DPC so far. Maybe he's just not in the best shape for the time being, but you know, he will get better. That's the point of the DPC.
Yeah, just give him some good matchups. Terrorblade, Benny. And level 2 on the Mars and the Rubik. We were waiting for that Fade Bolt to come. And it does in a good manner there with another kill on the Terrorblade. And Rubik also sniping the Courier on its way out. So at least top lane for Inverse going decently. It's that bottom lane so far. Gyrocopter, not too much CS. The Sankings put a lot of pressure on them. And of course, Kunkka in that mid lane starting to win out against the Tiny. So bot and mid looking good for Incubus. And it feels that's kind of where they want to be as well, because Terrorblade, he's that hero of the after laning stage. He's super good at catching up in the jungle, right? So if your other lanes, the active lanes, have a good start, you snowball all the space that you could have created for
Oh
him.
yeah, definitely. I mean, if the Sankey and the Kunkka are just playing up and battling your opponent like the TB, that's exactly how he gets all the space and farm. You know, there's this big misconception, I think, especially in the lower brackets, where you just have to protect your carry, you know?
TP into
If
his
you're
lane.
playing aggressive, yeah, like make sure that he doesn't die. You make sure you're, you know, or you're ready to counter gank. To be honest, all you really have to do is run at your opponent. If you run at your opponent, they react to your pressure, they can't kill your carry anymore.
Oh my god, they're towing that line, Mirana. The Sand King missed his Burrow Strike, and now
no.
Jupiter's dead. Sweetum gives a double kill to now his killing spree, 3-0 Kotal. Slaw with a perfect start.
I mean, that was a very awkward play from Incubus. They missed the disable there, and then there were so many creeps running at him. They were taking so much damage just from the creeps alone.
Man, it was after this Gyrocopter got like 2 rocket barrages in a row onto Mirana and Sand King. And chasing them down at long lane as Rubik top. Slapped down by that ET. He doesn't have a briefcase or a stapler anymore. He's got, I don't know what that is.
A mace?
It's a big thing.
Something like that.
What's it actually called, the cosmetic? It is a mace. Yeah, right. Mace of the Fissured Soul.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, he wanders to try and guard up the rune, but it spawns bottom, which Kunkka gets anyway. Both dire supports making moves while the Radiant one's stuck in these lanes. Terrorblade, even after 2 deaths, he's still top of the CS, 22 and 12. Does this net worth reflect that as well? Yeah, TB, still top of the net worth after 2 deaths. ET's really making his life beautiful up there in the creep waves.
They're
Gyro.
just gonna have to be a little bit more careful in how they position themselves. I mean, this is what Inverse did in game 1 as well. They didn't do so hot in terms of last hits, but they're constantly playing aggressively with their spells and getting kills.
Yeah, with a hero like Gyro, you can do that spectacularly. When he hits level 6, I hope to see some action from Sweetum. So we've seen Pos 1 Gyro a couple of times as Nuage steps a little too far forward. Tiny's rotation makes him pay.
Yeah,
And Noah
came up
gets
to get
himself
the bounty rune.
up on the scoreboard. So we've seen what K1's played, Pos 1 Gyro. I think we saw Benny play it as well. We've had a couple of them in South America.
Yep.
Mainly being the Aghanims build, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much the only way you can play carry Gyro. There's no other way. to be honest, with this hero. It's such a huge
Is under attack.
damage increase, DPS increase,
It's pretty much like
and it
having a
makes you
double
really
damage.
tanky as well. Yeah, it makes you tanky. That's very important. It's like an item that increases your damage by a lot, and then it also makes you tanky. You're gonna always buy that first.
Is there anything you would want him to specifically itemize for against the Terrorblade, though? Because the panel was saying
Yeah,
that
Maelstrom,
matchup's
I think.
not too hot.
I think you need magic damage.
Expo arrow.
Tiny
The
arrow.
big combo on Tiny. All onto that little Pebble's head. And Kotl, well, his rotation.
TV top.
Not going to do anything. Yeah, you're right. Speared back under his tower. Dies. The final right click from Rubik follows him
Under attack.
as he gets skewered up
They
against
saw-
his own tier 1.
Yeah, they saw the ET walking towards mid through the ward, and then they set up a kill onto the TB since they know that he's going to be left all alone. He also popped his meta there to try and fight back against the Mars with this magic stick, but it did not work out. Get the tower mid too. Damn. This Tiny rotating to top earlier has really hurt them a lot, even though they did get that ET kill.
Yeah, you get 1 kill, but it scuppers the rest of your plans. And now Kunkka, with his phase boots, double bracer, this tanky boy, Mini can start
tanky.
roaming and really make that space. Because theoretically, Kunkka could just run down bottom, Gyrocopter with, what, 900 HP? A quick little boat torrent combo, with the Sand King helping out, and that Gyrocopter, he's dead to rights. And you can see the preemptive move from the 2 Radiant supports, Rubik and Kotl. They're both down here, maybe expecting the dire aggression, but also setting up for aggression of their own. The Burrow Strike, though, from Sand King, gets them away from the second cooldown missile, and Sweetum, diving under this tower with the Rocket Barrage, does clear up Jupiter. Nuage, the only one there to respond. Alta Titan, unable to save his buddy. Because Mirana currently is stacking and farming creeps.
Just trying to make some stacks for the TB so he can go into the jungle. Off his next meta, he should be able to farm that up. Meanwhile, Kunkka just constantly shoving this mid lane in. It's gonna force like the Tiny or one of these lane shoving supports to the mid lane and
Radiant's middle tower
get
is
all
under
that farm.
Yeah, and whenever he leaves that lane, the 1 Radiant Observer ward there, trying to keep tabs on him, definitely puts a lot of fear into the head of the Gyro. Sweet.
I really want to see Mini though right now, like push this mid wave and then go straight to bottom.
Yeah.
I know the idea of fighting is good and all, but like you said, the Gyrocopter, you know, you can pressure him up, but even if he's not there, just to make sure that tower dies, and then you give that space to the TB, and then you like start to control up the mid bottom area. Maybe you want to make some smokes into the enemy triangle, get some kills,
under attack.
something of that sorts.
It's all a game of give and take. Try and push one area of the map so you unlock the next. And Mirana has actually been sat here for a good minute and a half now. 2 minutes. Literally, Mar has just been stacking camps.
This might be a little too many stacks though. I mean, I guess you have Kunkka. Maybe Kunkka should come there and help them kill that stack.
Dire's top tower is under
level
attack.
It
7.
doesn't get the extra ancient stack, only 3 there. Okay, should be.
Probably a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
TV will be happy. Very, very happy, lad. Clear that all up. And Mirana tries to hold out the top lane against this Mars Kotl, as Gyro also rotating top. The Sand King dealing with a bottom wave. And the Kunkka, he did stick around in that mid lane. Arcane Rune with a combo, sleeps up the Tiny, trying to get the Tidebringer cleave with a Torrent, and they do swipe him down perfectly.
Nice. Good kill. Now Sakim's actually TPing top side. They're gonna leave bottom.
They missed the
to defend
God's
this
Rebuke.
top lane.
They spear the Mirana, homing missile comes, but the Burrow Strike Epicenter, knowing there are no more stuns, means that Mars, even inside this Arena of Blood, going to get arrowed up. Mar with a nice sliding arrow there, could even find the Gyrocopter with a level 3 Starstorm. Great damage, and a Burrow Strike onto Sweden gets a double for Jupiter. Slaw,
Radiant's middle tower
and you're here.
is under attack.
Kotl's here, Rubik's
What?
here, but they can't do anything.
This is crazy. I mean, just a Sankey and the Mirana, and they just got the kill on the Mars Gyro. Oh man, this is why you gotta land your spells properly.
Yeah, and also
Feels
means
really
like,
bad.
they don't get the tier 1 now, and it means that the Dire team, they can play pretty heavily down bottom lane.
This is just gonna help Incubus like get to their timing so much faster. And we finally see Mini also going bottom with that catapult, taking that tier 1 tower. Terrorblade has already finished those 2 big stacks. Look at his levels right now. He is gigantic on this TB. He's 0-3, but doesn't feel like it because, you know, his team is making so much space by just pushing these lanes out and battling up against Inverse. They can't even get to the TB.
And I guess that first blood is like a little deceptive before the laning phase. Because he didn't really lose anything, right?
No, he didn't lose anything. Radiant actually lost something because the Rubik had to go for telekinesis. And then the Kato was the one who got the first blood. And that's like, your position 5 has a first blood. Like,
Oh, they
why
find
do you
the
care?
Mars. A Burrow strike into
Feels
Torrent.
bad.
Trying to hold out on that mid lane, but there's no tower, there's no reaction from your team. They're all up at top lane, trying to get in on this Mirana, but the defenses come in. Kunka's going to plonk himself in front of this objective and say, come at me.
No.
Let's fight then. Arrow, oh, nearly onto the gyro. Level
Dude,
4
that
X.
gotta feel so bad.
They
You're
get
just
the X.
losing all the map. Yep.
And here's the Torrent bow.
Arrow?
They chuck
No,
the
Arrow.
cooldown. Arrow doesn't quite connect, but they've got the magic damage to burst through the gyro regardless. And now the Sand King has a burrow on Tiny. Noah down to half HP immediately. Tosses back the Arena of Blood. It does save him up. Throws the tree into the midst of it all, but the epicenter from this Sand King dishing out damage onto Rubik and clearing through him. They've got another
That's his
X,
blink.
another Burrow, another Torrent. There is just so much here for Incubus to fight with that they keep on going. The spear, though, finds the Sand King now. They'll take down Jupiter. Punch him! Kill him! No! You've missed out on a kill on Sand King! You've left it for each other! Jupiter survives. They get the kill on Tiny, and Incubus, they're out of there. Sand King burrows
Dude,
into the
they don't get
trees a little
anything.
deep, but they get bloody nothing.
Oh, this is... I'm not gonna lie, Gary. Okay, I'm gonna be very blunt, very honest with you. This is the most depressing game I've seen in a very long time. You know, you're losing out on mid, you're losing out on bottom, you got 4 heroes top, your Mars dies mid, and then you can't even take the tier 1 top tower. The Kunkka TP's in, and just shoves all of you off and gets the kills on you after that. Meanwhile, your enemy Terrorblade is just absolute free farm. About to get his Sanj. They're running out of moves to make on Inverse. I mean, if I'm on Inverse side, like, I'm telling them, guys, we have to just go back top. We have to try something. There's
again.
no way we can just sit here. Yeah, I mean, you don't have an option. You have to go there again. You already butchered the first couple of tower pushes, but the way that they're playing right now, it's not going to help them come back. Maybe the Blink Tiny could possibly do something. That's pretty much their saving grace here.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was going to say as well. But Tiny, his Blink Dagger is just delayed
Oh,
over
boy.
and over again as he's caught. The Blink Sand King, he's here ahead of the Tiny. No, God, does try and turn with the Avalanche Toss,
Oh, they got
though, and they
Kunkka.
kill the
Nice.
Kunkka. Tiny too tanky.
bull.
And now, can they get in on top of the ET? Homing missile with the Moonlight Shadow stolen by Rubik. But there's a Moonlight here from Incubus too. Terrorblade and ET on the run away. They've killed off Noah. Mars
the
gone
back.
back in towards the back lines, and the Terrorblade, he turns the fight, kills the Mars. Rubik under the invis, but not for too long. They've got another burrow in 2 seconds. They'll need it with a blink ready in 3. They should be able to catch up to this Rubik and give Terrorblade a nice juicy kill. The blinding light, the burrow onto Kotl. They spread the targets. They'll go for 1. Well, they go for 2, but they get 1 anyway in the end.
They
the
still
gyro.
gonna get 2. They got a sweet
The
time.
gyro's still dying. The 2 supports.
He's trying.
ET and Rubik. Well, ET and Marauder.
Oh, no.
My brain can't even handle this thing, but I'm all over the place.
No. They're just getting played
Oh.
with right now, Gary.
Losing all your core heroes has got to feel so bad. But yeah, the point you made where Tiny's Blink Dagger is kind of the be-all and end-all of any kind of momentum they want to try and get. And he's the hero that Incubus are targeting.
I mean, this is like the same timing as a support Tiny Blink Dagger, right?
Pretty much.
He's not really a carry anymore, but you know, our core.
Yeah,
We'll see.
he's gone from like slow carry timing into fast support timing, right? 15 minutes.
Yep.
Well, it's
They're just
here.
farming up the ancient. But there are only 2 people here, though. This could be a good fight if they can get him before the boat.
Yeah, they've caught the
Oh, why
arena.
is he not throwing the boat?
Onto the Kunkka.
Alright.
They've tossed him across, but he's still dead.
I mean, if you're in that position, the moment you see a hero, you better be throwing your boat out right away. You need that run buff and try to get away. I mean, he has a BKB now, though. 50-minute BKB Kunkka? Okay. All right. And makes sense.
Massive.
The arena's what's killing you. So.
Absolute beast. But yeah, I think this Inverse side, they've got to get back into battle tank mode and start brute forcing their enemies. Gyro's still trying to get his Aghanim Scepter though. Sweetum's about 700 gold off it. But you need to do something. You can't just sit back and let this TB farm because he has the matchup advantage. You have to go out and play the map.
Radiant are scanning.
And it's going to be on the back of this Noah Tiny. He's sitting mid, waiting for, I guess, for everyone to smoke with him.
You know, this was a first phase pick Terrorblade, and I don't feel like they did a good job at countering it.
Is under attack.
Yeah, it's also
Typically, you like to...
almost like the reverse is true.
Yeah. You mean they picked heroes at TB counters?
Yeah, or he's decent
Okay,
against.
I wouldn't really say, you know, he counters them, but yeah, like you said, he's pretty okay. And if you first face something and you can get away with it, that's just amazing for you.
Oh, the Rubik in the river. He gets the quick lift, though. They drop the sentry and the burrow. So many stuns as soon as they see a target. They've got all the control in the world to blow them up. And Terrorblade now has a full run down that bottom lane. And they've got the options. Tier 2 bot, Tier 2 mid. Try and make a fight happen in that bottom Radiant jungle. But a jump from Tiny onto the ET. With a Mars arriving, forces the Moonlight, but the Gyrocopter's going to get caught by the Sand King. Destroyed by the arrow of Mar.
Just
Gyro didn't last long, did he? Now the Mars and the Tiny on the run. Mirana's found a double kill, taking out Slaw. And the Terrorblade's not even involved. Theban, TB pops meta and says, sod it, I'm pushing tower. You guys have got this, 4v5.
Telling you, they don't need this TB to win this game. This TB at this point could be any random carry in the world, and just let these 4 guys do the job for you. He's just there to break buildings. That's it.
Yep. And he's here for the tier 2 mid, claiming all these outer objectives with ease. A 10k lead at 17 minutes. And the options for Inverse, they are getting more and more limited.
Dire's top tower.
Aghanim's Gyro is still a couple of 100 gold away. And even then, you know, that BKB queued up for him is minutes and minutes out. A pipe dream, honestly, as this game could end in the next 5 minutes. But we've seen Tinies. Their options for coming back into games with sneaky plays, toss backs, you can't ever forget them. Because we did have a match with I think it was a Pos 4 Tiny, but pushing high ground against him, you get your TB tossed back to tier 4s. He can still die.
There was that game that was kind of thrown. It was, I think, SG, right? SG versus... Oof, I'm blanking on who the team they played against was. Yeah, but that did happen, and they did win that game.
Oh, Rubik. Wrong place to be. That high ground doesn't belong to you. Dire Observer Wards there, catching vision of anybody who walks up the staircases. And the rest of them, they're all smoked up. Gyro gonna get called across the map, I assume. Try and bring him up here.
They're doing a good job of just like... Oh, okay, Mars. He's pretty dead.
Jeez. Well, there goes your team fight, Inverse. Dead for 35. He does have buyback, but they're jumping for more. They've gone deep. Stomp lands, the Tiny tosses, but it sets up for the epicenter, and Tiny demolished by the Terrorblade. Jupiter and Mar, double kill for the Mirana, and they've got the X mark on the high ground. They spot the Rubik, drag him into the boat, crashing onto him. It's basically a team wipe. The Gyro not even involved. He's pushing a tier 1 tower. ET's gonna find him. They sleep up the Gyro and the TP's come. It's a 5-man wipe, I'm calling it now. Gyro, do what you can. Call down, flat cannon, rocket barrage, but you've been arrowed after the X-Mark connects. And Nuage is there. The dominating Elder Titan can sprint across the map and rejoin his Terrorblade.
And the TB also has a 19-minute Scotty SNY. He is too big. No more damage output from Inverse. I mean, Inverse is just like trying to see what they can get out of this game. Maybe some knowledge, you know, learn something. But it ain't looking too hot for them, Gary. They're gonna be 0-3 after this series if they lose this game.
Yeah, it's
a big if, right, Gary?
A big if. My God. What's the win percentage chance, production? Show us the damage. What does Valve think about this one? 99 to 1.
Dear Lord.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah. There's a chance. All right, let's hope for that 1%er. I mean, you know it says 1%, right? But do you think if it's like a 0.01%, it will still show 1%?
Like it always
Or
rounds
do you
up?
think it needs to be, yeah, or does it need to be like at least like 0.5% in order for it to show 1%? No, then it would be rounding down. Like, I mean, like if it was even like a 0.0001% chance to show 1%, or because that's not really rounding up.
It probably does normal rounding, right? Like if it's above 0.5, it rounds up. Below 0.5, it rounds down. Well, I don't know.
So
That's a good question. It's a good question for like
all right, there we go.
The people who know Valve API and programming and stuff. What they're actually up to? Because I haven't got a bloody clue. Last time someone tried to explain some like mechanics and programming to me, they started talking about floating points, and I was out of there. I was like, nah, I've got what's a floating? Huh? Get me out of this conversation. It's like, oh yeah, you can have numbers go up to 78,922.8 in source 2. Okay, cool. That's real great information to know. ET's got a great two-man stomp. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we simpletons, we don't understand that shit.
No, definitely not. Far too complicated. Yeah, Zyro was asking how to make this game entertaining, and I laughed at him, didn't I? That's a mistake on my part, because Incubus, they've made it look so simple. Cruising. 17k lead on high ground, now 22 minutes in, and they just hit the Rubik! Terrorblade is ready, Benny's here. Oh, he's not mucking around. Gyrocopter, what can you do with your Mars? You're tiny, you're trying to defend your base, but everybody is just standing behind the Terrorblade. Solar and BKB on the Kunkka. So you've got a Solar Crested, Spirit Vesseled, Pipe backed up, Terrorblade on your high ground, and the Burrow Strike initiation's there. A decent Mars arena, but the Gyrocopter just removed from existence, ceases to live. A double kill for Jupiter. They buy back Gyro, and they can on Mars as well. But they've lost this top lane of barracks. Not a question about it. X-Mark Torrent, Tiny caught up in it. Stuck in the mud a little bit there. But it's all for that greater goal of the melee barracks.
Just gonna back off, reset, Meta's on cooldown. And, you know, they still got a lot of lane shoving, right? The Rubik, the Coddle, the Tiny Avalanche into Tossback. It could be really annoying. You don't want to really throw away any kills and delay this game any longer.
Tiny Blast.
Tiny Blast. It technically is a blast, you know? You got Avalanche Toss. It just gets blasted into the Nether Realm.
Yeah, I remember a period of
Shadow Realm.
Dota 2 casting, pretty much all of the casters were calling every spell Blast, like Kotl Blast, Pugna Blast, Storm Blast, Crystal Maiden Blast. Anything that did like an AoE nuke, just call it Blast. It's an easy word.
How about Razor Blast?
Razor Blast.
Plasma
Blast. Yeah.
Plasma Blast.
We'll call it Plasma Blast. That's cool.
That's a hero we haven't seen in a long time, and I think that hero is actually pretty decent, to be honest. You know why no one's picking Lifestealer? Because they know the counter Razor is coming for them. Yeah, exactly.
Trent was talking about that. I don't know if it was on stream or when we were playing, but he was talking about it yesterday, where Razor is like 6th place in like win rate in like, you know, high Divine or Immortal pubs.
In like Pro Dota Tracker. Yeah, but it's not really picked that much, so the sample size is a bit low, but yeah, it is like pretty high win rate.
He's rising. Aegis TB, still there for another minute and 40 seconds, with a double damage rune on top of all the other buffs I mentioned earlier. Short work made of the bottom barracks. And the Radiant team, well, headless chickens come to mind. They are running around their tier 4s, wondering how to engage in battle. Just wait out the TB double damage, guys. I'm sure it'll be fine. Our barracks will survive. Heart of Tarask on the Terrorblade. Thank you, Bowie. You are correct. He does have a big red heart as the X-Mark drag back into the gyro, land the boat with the arrow. Oh, sweet. And without a BKB, you just cannot stand your ground, and that's GG. It's called up. 26-9. A very, very one-sided game as Incubus, they clean through this series 2-0.
The one thing I really liked about Incubus this game is when they were ahead, they didn't stop like playing aggressively. They didn't really like just wait for some item